The USA men's soccer team does what they need to do in the first game of Copa America. Or did they? Let's talk about it. Well, welcome back to New York Sports WickerMedia. I'm Watch2K99. Thank you, as always, for taking the time to watch these videos. So we haven't done a soccer video since, well, the World Cup. I guess it's been about 2 years. But when the big events happen, like Copa America or the World Cup, when nations are getting involved, I'll do some recordings if something moves me. And the fact that the United States is hosting Copa America for the first time, I think, ever. Certainly in a long time. This is a big test for this young team, for this coach and for these players. Can they compete on the world stage? It's one thing to be, competitive against Mexico and Costa Rica and those types of teams, but you factor in the world powers that play in South America, in particular Argentina, Brazil, to a lesser extent maybe a Colombia, a Uruguay, and now you're really starting to see what you're made of. Well, this first game was not one of those. All right, so the USA was playing Bolivia, ranked, I think, like 89th in the world. The USA is ranked 11th. Anything less than a win would have been a disaster for the USA. This game was in Texas. Bolivia, not only that, they had won only one of their last 30 Copa America matches. Translation, this team stinks, okay? So Bolivia starts the game with two strikers, forwards up front. They wanted to test the U.S. defense. Well, they didn't get much of a chance. The U.S. took it to Bolivia from the get-go. First 45 seconds, they had some good scoring chances. But on the third minute in, U.S. gets a corner kick, a set piece, which is usually an issue for the USA. So Balogun gives it to Christian Pulisic. He dribbles it to the corner of the box to the goalie's right with basically plenty of space. I mean, the Bolivia defenders weren't even challenging Pulisic, and Pulisic has space. He fires the ball into the upper left corner of the goal. The Bolivian goalie, Guillermo Vizcarra, got a hand on it. It wasn't enough. 2.5 minutes in, USA up 1-0. And you could start to see the U.S. pretty much controlled the entire first half and most of the game, but it was about midway through the first half, I thought you really started to see frustration, from the Bolivian players. They didn't have the speed to keep up, and they start fouling the USA relentlessly. They got a yellow card in the 28th minute. This one guy took down Gio Reyna. 2 minutes later, they got another one 3 minutes after that. It was like 3 yellow cards in 4.5 minutes. I'd never seen that, international soccer match. And there were two or three other times that Bolivia could have been called for a penalty, and they weren't. But I thought the USA was coming out a little bit worse for wear. Tyler Adams was already hurt going into this game. Weston McKennie was limping at different parts, but it was really never in doubt who was going to win this game. And throughout that first half, I just really wanted that insurance goal. The USA had a lot of chances, but they couldn't seem to get the shot on net, whether it was a defensive block, whether it was a pass not quite connecting. And then Fuller and Balogun, the young striker who's been getting a lot of hype since he chose to play for the United States instead of England. Man, he's a great dribbler, but as I was watching him, I was like, he doesn't seem to know when to be aggressive, when to go at the net, when to pass, when to take the shot. You know what he reminds me of? He's kind of like a hockey player who's great skating from end to end, but doesn't know how to finish enough in the big spots. And I'm just thinking, get one more goal. Make it 2-0 and I'll feel good. Sure enough, minute 44, Gio Reyna makes a nice pass from his own end into the middle of the field to Pulisic, who dribbles in to the Bolivia zone, passes left to Balogun. He dribbles in the box to the goalie's right. He gets off a left foot strike, keeps it low, and just like the first goal, the ball bounces off the goalie's hands into the right side of the net, and the U.S. leads 2-0. About the only thing I didn't really love from the USA, besides the lack of finishing in certain spots, I thought some of the passing from the defense was a little bit off the mark. They had passes where they were by themselves and they were going out of bounds. I just didn't see the crispness there that I really wanted to. So then early in the second half, Balogun nearly scores again. He did score again, but it was whistled for an offside. It was the right call. 60th minute, Pulisic with a great move to the goal, fires a shot that's saved. And then ricardopepi, oh my gosh, playing in his home state, he subs in for Balogun. He had 4 or 5 big chances to score as well. Man, this had to be a frustrating night for him because he could have scored several times and he couldn't put any of them home. Bolivia gets a few shots on goal, but nothing of real danger. The truth is the U.S. should have won this game by 4 or 5 goals. Just some of the stats: shot attempts, 20 for the U.S., 6 for Bolivia. Shots on goal, 8 for the States, 3 for Bolivia. U.S. had 7 corner kicks to Bolivia's 1. Bolivia had twice as many fouls as the USA. So this, to me, was not a perfect game because the U.S. needed to score more goals. I mean, when Uruguay plays Bolivia, I'm willing to bet Uruguay is going to put more than 2 goals home. Because if you finish with the same number of points in the group standings, then it comes down to, goal differential and total goals for. So if you miss out on these opportunities, it can hurt your ability to win your group or even make the knockout round. That's why some of these missed goals could come back to haunt them. Now, I certainly expect the U.S. to advance, especially after getting this win, but they still have to do a better job finishing off their opportunities. I thought Christian Pulisic was the best player in this game. He looked in control. He looked like the leader, like he knew exactly what to do with the ball at each time. You need your best players to be their best players in these big moments against the best teams in the world, and Pulisic was the best player for the U.S. in this match, I thought. So now there's 2 more games in the group round. It's USA versus Panama on Thursday night. Never easy, but a game I would say they should win. And then the following Monday, July 1st, you have a very, very tough Uruguay team who is ranked, I believe, 13th in the world according to the FIFA rankings. Top 2 teams advance to the knockout stage. And so let's see what happens. All right, everybody. Well, thanks so much for joining me. I will do another recap video after the Panama game, and I will see you. Don't forget, Wednesday nights, our live show this week at 10 p.m. Whole lot of New York Jets talk. Thanks, everybody, for watching, and I'll see you right back here with more content from you know where. The Wicker Chair.